Evening, and welcome to the second ever virtual Townsend pre-town meeting. I'm glad you could attend this unusual meeting during these unusual times. I would like to offer a special welcome to those who are new to Townsend and those who have never attended a Townsend meeting before. My name is David Lebo, and it is my privilege to serve as your town moderator and will be the moderator for this meeting. If you did not attend last night's meeting, this will be new to you. If you did attend last night, I apologize if the script is similar. This meeting is being streamed live to Comcast Channel 1085 and around the globe on YouTube Brattleboro TV and Facebook Brattleboro Community TV. BCTV's coverage of this meeting is made possible by these sponsors. Before we begin, I would like to review instructions on how to participate in the meeting and the meeting guidelines. Please turn off your video and mute your microphone. If you are joining by phone, use *6 to mute or unmute. Please make sure your name is displayed correctly on the screen so you can be called on correctly. Use the rename function to make the changes before the opening of the meeting. If you wish to speak, use the raise hand feature under reactions or participants. If you are joining by phone, use *9 to raise or lower your hand. The chat will not be monitored for questions or comments on agenda items. Use the raise hand feature to participate. I will call your name or the last 4 digits of your phone number to speak. BCTV will then ask you to turn on your video and unmute your microphone. Before you ask your question, please identify yourself and just the street you live on, not your house number. After you're done speaking, please stop your video and mute your microphone. As each agenda item is completed, I will ask the director to lower all hands to start the line again for the next agenda item. I would like to remind you that this is not town meeting. This is an informational meeting to answer questions related to the warrant articles. Unfortunately, this is not the venue to opine on the articles. I will call on participants as hands are raised. Use the raise hand feature or *9 on your phone. You should magically appear on the screen next to me, and we will try and get the appropriate person to respond to your question to magically appear next to you. Again, unfortunately, this evening you have me on your screen most of the time. To keep things moving, I will allow all to speak once per article and then not more than twice. When we get to elections, I will allow candidates a brief introduction and background if they'd like. Campaign speeches will be deemed out of order. I would like to specifically point out a typo in the town report. We all have our town reports with us. Please see page 35. The Townsend Historical Society is urging you to vote yes on Article 11. It is misprinted as Article 10. We may be referring to the town report, so keep it handy. Remember, we are not voting on any articles tonight. There can be no motions, therefore no amendments. You cannot change the articles. This is purely an informational meeting. Please ask any clarifying questions on the warned articles. The election on these articles, as written, is on town meeting day, Tuesday, March 2nd at Town Hall from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Other questions or concerns can be directed to Town Hall or the Select Board. At this time, I would usually introduce those on stage, but without a stage, speakers should introduce themselves, state your name, the road you live on, and your town position if you hold any, as you appear on the screen. I would like to thank BCTV for all the hard work they've put into these productions. I feel like I'm ready for prime time. A big thank you to all the town's members that have put their time into making this meeting happen. Please bear with us as we try again. I call the February 18th, 2021 Townsend pre-town meeting to order. So today I'm actually going to read the warning. The legal voters of the town of Townsend are hereby notified and warned that voting by Australian ballot will be held at Town Hall in Townsend, Vermont on Tuesday, March 2nd, 2021 from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. to act on the following articles. We will now talk about Article 1, to choose a moderator for the ensuing year. Anybody that would like to run for moderator and would like to speak and tell us about yourself, please raise your hand. *9 or raise hand function. Remember, prime time. Seeing no hands, we will clear the hands and move on to Article 2. Article 2, to act upon the July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2020 Independent Auditor's Report. The Auditor's Report is on page 7 to 8 of your town report. Are there any questions on the Auditor's Report? Please press raise hand feature or *9. Seeing no raised hands on Article 2, we will move on to Article 3. Clear the hands. Article 3, to see what salaries the town will vote to pay its various officials for the ensuing year. Town Clerk, $37,877.77 per year. Town Treasurer, $30,450 per year. Select Board 1 chair at $1,200 per year. 4 Select Board members at $1,000 per year. And Town Clerk assistants and casual labor at $14.99 per hour. Are there any questions on Article 3? Raise hand feature or *9. Seeing no raised hands, we will clear the hands and move on to Article 4. Article 4. Article 4 is the elections. When we head to the polls, we'll have various sets of ballots, and there will be an Australian ballot for the election. However, this evening, what we'd like to do is allow anybody that is interested in running for the positions, whether they are on the ballot or write-in, to at least introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about themselves. Again, campaign speeches will be deemed out of order. So we'll start with the first position in the warning. That is Town Clerk. I will now, please raise your hand or press *9 if you would like to introduce yourself running for Town Clerk. I see one hand. I don't know why I didn't. Oh, Alenka. There you go. Hi.
And I apologize because for those of you that are on last night heard this too, but my name is Alenka Wasanglat and I live off of Simpson Brook Road. I've spent my entire childhood and most of my adult life as a resident of Townshend. My husband and I, sorry for my focus, my husband and I are raising our 3 kids in the house that my parents built when I was a baby and that I grew up in. I am very familiar with local history and the community. I help coach my kids' teams and volunteer at their school. My previous job that I held for over 12 years, I've been able to multitask and be organized and efficient. I've always been a quick learner and detail-oriented, and I'm currently on my 2nd term as Justice of the Peace. So thank you, guys. Sorry for the redundancy.
You. Thank you. Thank you very much. Anybody else running for Town Clerk that would like to introduce themselves? Raise hand feature *9. Seeing no other hands, we will move on to Town Treasurer. Anybody like to say hello? Yes, Elaine.
Hi, Elaine Hill, Sleeper Lane, Town Treasurer. I've been in the position since March of 2020 and would like your support for the upcoming year. Last evening, a question was raised. Are the budgeted totals in the town report reflective of the final audit reports? Yes, adjustments are made during the audit process, and the town report budget mirrors the audit results. And just so everyone knows, an audit report is available for viewing in the town hall. Any questions can be addressed via email, phone call, or by a scheduled appointment. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine. Okay, anybody else interested town treasurer position? Star 9 or raise hand feature? Seeing none, let's move on to select board. There are 3 different positions for the select board. We'll talk about the one 3-year term that right now is held by Rob Wright. Would anybody like to introduce themselves running for the 3-year term on the select board?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Rob Bright Jr., live on Greenwood Drive in Townshend, Vermont. Have for almost 19 years, served on the board for the last 6 and would gladly serve another 3-year term. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Anybody else for the 3 would like to speak to the 3-year term? Seeing no other hands. We now have 2 1-year terms available. Those terms right now are held by Irv and Crystal, who has resigned. Would anybody like to introduce themselves for the 2 1-year terms for select board? Irv would like to say hello. Irv first. Star 6, I believe, Irv. Okay, I think you're on, Irv.
Yes, I'm Irvin Stoll. I've been on the board the last year, and I've been on it before, and I would gladly serve 1 more year.
Thank you. Thank you, Irv. Thank you for figuring out the technology. We appreciate it. Anita has her hand up.
Yeah, I just need to make a correction as far as Catherine Merrow that spoke last night. What I meant to say is that she wasn't on the ballot because at the time she was not a registered voter in the town of Townsend, but she has since registered in town, and therefore she is eligible to run, and she can be a write-in on the ballot. And I just wanted to make that clear to everybody.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. We appreciate that. Noted.
Okay.
Yes. So if somebody wasn't here last night, that was for the select board, right? That was for the 1-year term. Yes, indeed. Okay, and she's not here tonight. So she spoke last night, Catherine Moreau, and there was some confusion on whether or not she was a registered voter. She's going to be a write-in candidate. She was not registered in time to be on the ballot, but she is a registered voter and can be written in. And her name is Catherine Moreau. Okay. Anybody else for the 1-year term on the select board that would like to speak? Seeing no other hands, we have 1 year left on a 3-year term. Will Bissonnette resigned, and Sherwood Lake was appointed. Sherwood Lake's hand is up.
Good evening, Sherwood Lake from West Townsend, and I've been the emergency management director for the last 3 years in town, and I filled Will Bissonnette's unexpired term, and I'd like to finish out that year with your assistance. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherwood. Anybody else for the 1 year left on a 3-year term on the select board? Seeing no other hands, we'll move on to Lister. There is a 3-year term available that is right now held by Mike Bills. Would anybody like to introduce themselves running for Lister? Seeing no hands. We'll now move on to Delinquent Tax Collector. That is a one-year term. Right now it is held by Becky Riley. Would anybody like to speak about the Delinquent Tax Collector position? Seeing no hands. Next position is the first constable position, is a one-year term held by Warren Beatty right now. Would anybody like to introduce themselves running for the first constable position? Seeing no hands. Second constable position, one-year term held by Mike Cutts. No hands. No hands there. The town grand juror will be appointed by the select board. Then we have the library trustees. We have 1 year left on a 5-year term. That was Marge Holt's position, now held by Kathy DeGrenier. She was appointed. And then we also have another one 5-year term. Marilee would like to say something.
Yeah, hi. I just want to introduce myself. I'm Marilee Atlee. I live on Pekin Mountain Road. I've been a trustee at the library for a long time now, more than 10 years. Really enjoyed it. I'd like to get a chance to do a little bit more. I hope you'll let me do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for helping the town out. We appreciate their time served. Okay, I think that's it for library. Anybody else interested in library trustee positions? Seeing no other hands. Cemetery commissioner. 1 5-year term. It right now is held by Scott Nystrom. Would anybody like to introduce themselves for cemetery commissioner? Okay. Seeing no other hands, I think we're done with elections. So we can clear the hands on Article 4 and move on to Article 5. To see if the town will authorize the selectmen to set a tax rate sufficient to cover all monies raised for municipal entities for the period of July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022, and to borrow money in anticipation of taxes. Is there any discussion, questions about Article 5? Star 9 or raised hand feature? Seeing no hands. Article 6, to see if the town will authorize its property tax collector to receive its real property taxes quarterly, August 27th, 2021, November 19th, 2021, February 25th, 2022, and May 27th, 2022. Monthly interest will be charged at the rate of 0.5% or fraction thereof. Interest of 1% or fraction thereof, plus penalties, will commence on May 28th, 2022. Any discussion on Article 6? Seeing no questions on Article 6, no hands, raise hand feature, star 9. We'll move on, we'll clear the hands and move on to Article 7. Article 7, to see if the town will vote to appropriate $578,351 to pay for the running expenses and liabilities of the town, of which $324,346 to be raised in taxes. I believe that's on page 10 through 17 of your town report. Are there any questions to be asked on Article 7? That's raise hand feature or star 9. Seeing no hands being raised, I will clear the hands and move on to Article 8. Article 8, to see if the town will vote to appropriate $702,190 for the running expenses and liabilities of maintaining the town's roads, of which $565,852 is to be raised in taxes. That is on page 18 through 23 in your town report. Are there any questions on Article 8? Raise hand feature or star 9? Seeing no hands being raised, we will move on to Article 9. Article 9, to see if the town will vote to appropriate $187,000 of surplus highway funds to purchase a new 2021 Western Star to replace the T1 2011 Freightliner that has zero trade-in value and is not currently roadworthy. I believe the town trucks are listed on page 21. Are there any questions on Article 9? Raise hand feature or star 9? Seeing no hands being raised, we will move on to, we'll clear the hands and move on to Article 10. Article 10, to see if the town will vote to raise $20,000 by taxation for law enforcement services. That is actually, that line item is on page 14 in the middle in your town reports. Any questions about Article 10? Raise hand feature, star 9. Seeing no raised hands on Article 10, we will clear the hands and move on to Article 11. To see if the town will vote to raise $50,000 by taxation to be held in a reserve account for the repair of the Stone Arch Bridge on Back Windham Road, contingent upon the successful award of grant funds. That is discussed on page 35 in your town report. Are there any questions on Article 11? Raise hand feature or star 9? Seeing no raised hands, we will move on to Article 12. We will clear the hands and move on to Article 12 to see if the town will vote to raise $54,422 by taxation for the running expenses and liabilities of the library. The library report is on page 38 in the town report. Are there any questions on Article 12? Star 9, raise hand feature. Okay, seeing no questions, we'll clear that, no raised hands, we'll clear the hands and move on to Article 13. To see if the town will vote to raise $478 by taxation to increase the librarian's operating hours. Are there any questions on Article 13? Raise hand feature or star 9? Seeing no raised hands, we will clear the hands and move on to Article 14. To see if the town will vote to raise $10,000 by taxation to be placed in the Capital Expenditure Fund Fire Department Reserve toward a future pumper. The reserve funds are listed on page 23 on your town report. Are there any questions on Article 14? Star 9, raised hands. Seeing no raised hands, we'll clear the hands and move on to Article 15 to see if the town will vote to raise $1,800 by taxation for the Old Cemetery Fund. The Old Cemetery Fund is on page 34 in your town report. Any questions or discussion on Article 15? Raise hand or star 9? Seeing no questions. Article 16, to see if the town will vote to raise $14,990 by taxation for the support of social services as recommended. Social services screening is on page 24 and 25 in your town report. Are there any questions? Raise your hand feature or star 9? I see no raised hands. So we will clear the hands And we'll move on to Article 17. To see if the town will vote to raise $1,000 by taxation for support of Southeast Vermont Economic Development Strategies as recommended by the Social Services Committee. That is on page 26 in your town report. Are there any questions or discussion? Please press raise hand feature or *9. Seeing no raised hands, we'll move on to Article 18 to see if the town will vote to raise $790 by taxation for the support of Grace Cottage Hospital as recommended by the Social Services Committee. Again, on page 26. Any questions or discussion? *9 or raised hands. Seeing no raised hands, move on to we'll clear the hands and move on to Article 19 to see if the town will authorize the Board of Selectmen to acquire land by gift or purchase through municipal forest to promote reforestation, water conservation, and good forestry practices. Any questions on Article 19, *9 or raise hand feature? Seeing none there. And then Article 20, to see if the town will vote to set the first Tuesday in March 2022 as the date for the 163rd Town of Townsend Annual Town Meeting. Any questions on Article 20? *9 or raised hand. Would anybody like to add anything to the meeting before anything else? Raise hand. Seeing no raised hands and seeing no further business to come before this meeting, I declare the meeting adjourned. Again, I would like to thank BCTV for all the hard work. Thank our sponsors and all the Townsend town people that participated in this meeting. Don't forget to vote town meeting day, Tuesday, March 2nd at Town Hall from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Have a good evening, stay safe, and I expect to see you at town meeting next year. Thank you very much.